to take an inside look at the president's private residence. Reporters from Time magazine were granted rare access to the White House, and President Trump, after hours, giving a closer look at everything from his new flat-screen TV to Twitter to what they bring him for dinner. ABC's Mary Bruce joins us this morning. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, David. Well, you see those windows up there on the second floor? That is the private residence. And this morning, we're getting a glimpse inside. Time magazine is showing us a part of the White House and a personal side of the president that few ever see. Everything from that television addiction to his Twitter habit and the mark the president is now leaving here on the White House. It's a rare glimpse inside President Trump's White House after hours. In the latest issue of Time magazine, the president showing off one of his favorite hobbies, clicking through cable news clips. A new 60-plus inch flat screen now above the dining room fireplace. There it is reflected in the mirror. Trump describing TiVo as one of the great inventions of all time. Despite his Twitter habit of lashing out at the media,
the news is fake. It's all fake news. This is fake news.
Trump now says he's learning to tune out the bad news about himself, explaining, "I've been able not to watch or read things that aren't pleasant. In terms of your own self, it's a very, very good thing. The equilibrium is much better." We also learn more about some of the personal touches he's put on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Just days after he took office, Trump revealed to David Muir some of his early changes.
We're standing on Ronald Reagan's rug.
This was Ronald Reagan's, and you have a choice, when you come in. They have 8 or 9 carpets.
And those gold curtains in the Oval Office replacing Obama's red ones. But now even the walls in his private dining room have the golden touch. And this enormous crystal chandelier purchased by Trump with his own money, Trump jokingly calling it his contribution to the White House. Upstairs, his private mansion, no cameras allowed. The magazine describing it as a palace far larger than it looks from the outside. 20,000 square feet catered to by nearly 100 household staff, including valets and butlers. It's where the president has lived most of his first months in office, alone.
I know that the First Lady, Melania, has a big job back in New York taking care of Barron.
Does, yes.
Does it make it a lonely place for you at the end of the day?
No, because I end up working longer, and that's okay. I mean, I'm working long hours. I mean, the country has a lot of problems.
And during a candlelit 4-course dinner in the Blue Room, Time reporters getting a sense of the president's tastes. Diet Coke, not water, extra sauce with his chicken, and for dessert, an extra helping. 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream with his chocolate cream pie. Everybody else just got 1. Now, the president admits some of this may be changing shortly. He says he expects in about a month the First Lady, his wife, and the youngest son, Barron, will be joining him here at the White House, bringing the family back under one roof. But, David, no word yet on what that might mean for that extra scoop of ice cream.
I was going to say, the horror in the room when they heard 1 scoop for everyone else. We can make that happen. Mary, thanks. We're going to join Nancy Gibbs now from Time magazine. She's the editor. Nancy, always great to have you on. You've been to the White House so many times. Your team described the Oval Office as sort of a change taking place, more of a royal court for the president. How different was it for you?
The last time I had been there, every minute of a president's day is so regimented and administered. You know exactly where he's going to be by, down to the half minute. And in this case, the sort of free-form, improvisational feeling of it was extraordinary. The only thing it can be likened to, I think, is maybe the early days of the Clinton administration, where that, sort of college dorm common room feeling of people wandering in and out and working, and a dozen people in there at a time with an enormous amount of energy but not a lot of structure. I think that's very much the feeling now.
And just a few feet away from the Oval Office in the West Wing there is the private dining room, and he's made changes already. He said he discovered gold beneath layers on the wall.
He gutted it down to the studs and rebuilt it, restored the moldings and installed this enormous crystal chandelier in the middle, and of course this great big flat screen TV on the wall.
He said he paid for the chandelier, by the way.
Yes.
It was his gift.
Yes.
And on the flat screen, it was very interesting. He was watching clips of the hearings on Capitol Hill involving Russia.
That's what he wanted to show us. He had literally teed up the highlights for him. It was sort of like watching, a play-by-play of your favorite sports team, of moments in the testimony that afternoon, which he had watched in real time. I asked him, were you watching this as it was happening? Of when former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper said he had seen no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And he says, see, there it is.
He celebrated in the room with you.
And even as we were having that conversation with him, his social media team was back in the Oval Office sending out the tweets of, when is this taxpayer-funded charade going to hoax? Going to end.
And you report that he walks back in the room and said, did you get that stuff out, meaning those tweets? You did get upstairs to the private residence.
Yes.
I noted that the president took the elevator, the vice president took the stairs because they don't take the same elevator ever.
Not being on the same plane.
Right? And you got up there and he took you through right down to sort of the old desk, Lincoln's old desk, right? And the phone system, he said, I love the phones here.
It's in the treaty room. That's where he tends to work once he goes upstairs at night, and they bring him, a box of papers to go through. And he talked about the phone and how it, it splits your words. It's, it's scrambled.
Right, yeah.
This is where I talk to China. Works late into the night. We know that he doesn't get a lot of sleep. So there are a lot of people that he calls really quite late into the night, and certainly when he was lobbying on health care, he was on that phone a lot. He made clear the long working days.
And Nancy, he told me at the time that the First Lady Melania and Barron will be coming to the White House. Is that what he told you?
Yes, within the next few weeks.
Within the next few weeks. It's a big change for the family. All right, Nancy, always great to have you on the program.
Nice to be here.
Nancy Gibbs with Time. Check it out. It's on newsstands right now and, of course, online, which is where I read it right away yesterday. Thanks, Nancy.